I'm just trying to activate the throat chakra.
You know.
So
that's how we roll. Welcome to the YouTube channel.
Rawbabes101, the show.
The show.
The show must go on. The show must go on.
The show must go on.
So I shuffled and a card fell out. So I'm like, we'll just go with it. And it is appreciation. Divine helpers. So we are so grateful and appreciate everyone and everything.
Well, I mean, I think too, we also need to help our divine helpers, especially there's been a big conversation, and it comes up often with a lot of mediums about giving gratitude to our ancestors. We even talked about saging recently, and we want to sage and cleanse things and stuff, but we should learn a little bit more about the history of sage and where it comes from, because it's actually a sacred ritual that a lot of my ancestors did, especially. And so where the sage comes from, if you watch Chris Corsini,
on Instagram,
he's one of her favorite astrological tarot card readers,
and also medium.
And a medium, can't forget that. But it says it in every single one of his new moon workshops. About don't get your sage from Urban Outfitters.
Or any of those. It needs to be an indigenous place enough to support. And also when you're using the sage, basically like what Tiffany was saying, is to give thanks to it. So anything that we're using, because it came from the earth and it grew, we want to always give thanks. And from where it came from is super important.
Very important, because we're using it. We're like, sage the shit out of our house. Bad spirits, go, go, go. But I mean, we're not giving gratitude of the sage itself and where that's coming from. It's a sacred plant. So
I love that.
And
that's all about appreciation. And even in this card, it's like a man bending over and giving flowers, and obviously they come from the earth, and we take things for granted very easily. We're just like, just flowers. It's just a tree. No, they're all here for a very specific purpose, and it's quite magical. And there's a couple of stars even coming down from the heavens or the universe. So,
or our divine helpers.
From our divine helpers. You got it. Okay.
Can I just turn this just a smidge poo?
Yes, you sure can. You can do whatever you want.
It's so weird. It's not this side. It's this side.
What about it?
I don't know. It looks...
Dick in the bucket? I think it's fine. It's fine. We're just going to go with it. So
fine.
We have a new backdrop today because we're at Tiffany's house. Woo!
Yes. We decided to come here this time. Switch it up a bit.
Yeah. Switch up the energy. She has this next level.
Oh, my table.
Her table, but it's actually called something, and we both can't remember what it's called, but
it's just
altar. Yay!
Oh my god.
Yes, it's her altar.
Yes, so this is where I keep all of my crystals, my sage, my sound bowls.
Ooh, you should do a little sound.
Yeah.
Do a little sound.
Actually, this one is way more fun to use. So, if you're not familiar with sound healing, this might make your eyeballs roll in the back of your head, because that's what it does for me. And I'm actually really excited to get my next sound healing instrument.
Nice.
Because I'm gonna get it. It's happening. I've already put it out there. Okay, you ready for a quick ring-a-ling?
Ring-a-ling-a-ding.
Let's ring-a-ling. Let's
my bell. Ring my bell. Everything is a song.
Everything's a song.
Yeah.
So what we do is we use a sound bowl, if you do not know, and it's a really good way to open up well, your chakras, but when you hear things at a certain hertz, it's like it opens certain parts of your brain, so you're just a lot more aware.
Yes,
of
it's very healing.
Very healing.
Very healing.
Especially when you go into meditation. So something like this is very beneficial. But you can actually get apps with it.
Yes, and music. There's music you just search on Spotify or on YouTube, actually YouTube does it as well.
Apple Music,
and you just put healing hertz, or you put in a hertz, like it could be 632, 432, and then you'll play it, find it, and then the song will come up, and you just play it, and it's very healing in your home.
Healing.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, I love. Well, yours is beautiful. Kristen has like this massive crystal bowl.
Yes,
and it's gorgeous. And even when you play that online, you play any of these online, you're still getting the same, because it's, well, just wait.
Okay, go.
Woo-hoo!
Perfect. That was an amazing intro. Start with some healing. Jeez, nice work.
Maybe we should do this every time.
Yeah, we can. We can start it, or we can end it, or we could do both.
Well, I have to say, I do have a playlist that I listen to when I'm working, and it is all sound healing like that. And I hear it in different hertz, and it actually helps with my focus, because I actually get sidetracked really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah. And I don't like that.
No.
I just want to be
Stay
focused.
Yes,
exactly.
I agree. So,
where are we
moving
at?
on to tips. So, I've decided to share with you guys a very magical, this is also a spiritual kind of tip, but this is to do with herbs and something that is called lemon balm, and it also is called Melissa. There's two names for it, and it comes in a tea form or a pill form. This is a herb that's very, very soothing for your body, and I'm just going to read off a couple of the tips for lemon balm and Melissa, and I know that you guys are going to want to write this down, and you're probably going to go and buy it after you hear the benefits from frickin' lemon balm.
So what you could do is pause us and then run, get a paper and pen.
Yes.
So if you're going to pause us, you got to pause on us right now. Ready, go. That's it. Thanks, Chris.
That's what Chris does. He does some fun things. He'll be like, pause game. Okay.
Oh, and then you need to actually screenshot that shit and send it our way.
Yes, and tag us
Just
on
saying.
Instagram. Okay, so lemon balm is a herb that is super soothing. It helps relieve anxiety, stress, hypertension, depression, high blood pressure, muscle spasm, heart palpitations, tension headaches, ADD, Alzheimer's, sleeping and insomnia, acne, gastrointestinal problems. Lemon balm is an anti-parasitic, antiviral, and antibacterial for your body. It detoxes the liver, spleen, and kidney, and it helps reduce bladder inflammation, which makes it a star for alleviation anyone that has interstitial cystitis or urinary tract infections, PCOS. The list goes on and on. This is a very small piece of the pie. So the biggest reason why I brought this into my life was you take this at nighttime. So if you take it during the day, you are going to get very tired. Like, I accidentally did it, and it was the worst thing that I could have done because I got so tired. I was just like, oh my gosh, why am I so tired? And it was lemon balm. So a great brand is Nature's Way, and this one is, there's my model. This one you can get at Roots, Nature's Fair, I believe Palm. And the biggest thing with any supplements, I talk about this a lot, is please do not buy anything that has citric acid or natural flavors in it, because it's actually going to do a disservice to your body instead of helping you. You're better off not taking the herb or the vitamin than you are to take it, because it's literally if I could like,
It's
what's the word I'm looking for? It's
a cancer causing.
It's
agent.
a filler. It is next level.
But I mean,
it will
like,
come to me
it's
again.
like anything that you take on a day-to-day, like all the time, you want to be as clean and as organic as possible.
Yes.
There's everything, there's that saying, everything in moderation. Like, obviously, we all have our, like, little favorite bad things.
Right.
But if this is, like, a vitamin or something you're
daily.
taking every day, like...
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah.
To know, you know, it's to spend that little bit extra. And to be perfectly honest... This is $12 for this entire thing.
Canadian.
So, to be perfectly honest, you're just getting the herb, you're getting the raw goods.
$12.29.
Yeah, and I also love...
I hope that's your number.
1229. So, okay, lemon balm, go and get it. I started introducing that into my life also because of acne and breakouts and PCOS, cysts on the ovaries, and... I take 3 before I go to bed, along with ashwagandha, and it's amazing. So,
beautiful.
Give it a try. Next, I'm going to roll right into the new moon. Happy new moon. It's February 11th. I know you guys will be getting this 1 week later, but the new moon is in Aquarius. Woo! So, this is what's happening. Our new moon is today, and it is Venus conjunct with Jupiter. This brings luck, love, money. This is a powerful time to attract these things into our life. We cannot keep carrying on the same old burdens throughout our life. So this is a time to really dig deep to figure out what you're carrying still that is burdening you to release and let go of. In order to attract new things, we need to release out the old. Everything is energy. Old, trapped, stale energy, it has to be cleared out. And how do you do this? So it's kind of cool because the course that we were in last night talked on this with Stevie, and that was...
it was so good.
So good and so helpful for all of the work that we do, so we can implement this in so many ways. And how can you, this is a big question, like how can you release trapped energy that you might not even know is there? And I can like put my hand up over and over again to say how much trapped old energy I have had even up till like this day. So I'm like, I want to get rid of it. I'm ready to welcome the new. So how you do this is yoga, dancing, singing, journaling, Reiki, breath work, stomping your feet. Tiffany talked about this one, that she definitely loves doing that. Take off your shoes, go outside and stomp. And then the next one that I love, and I do this one with Cassius, is screaming.
We're not going to scream right now.
But let's do it.
No.
Okay. No, I love this.
No.
Yeah, she's like, don't rattle my dogs in my house. But yeah, screaming is awesome. I'm not gonna hit the table again.
Yeah, I know. It's like a little shake it. Shake it.
Also, this new moon is inviting a new generational change. And I think we should start maybe our podcast because I think it would be good. It would be, sorry, right as you're taking, right, so this gets on the podcast because it's going to be some pretty
profound.
We're going to go a little bit deep here, you guys. Not that it's not something we always do, but we're going to talk about
something from last week.
Yeah, some shit. Some deep stuff. So, like I said, oh yeah, she's just setting up Anchor so we can get the podcast going. 1, 2, 3. Hi! Welcome to Rawbabes101.
101.
Let me clear my throat. Hey guys, we are just going to fill you in. So I just talked about the new moon that is today. You guys get this 1 week later, so it will still be a new moon. But we are talking about how much amazing things that this new moon is going to bring into our life, like luck, love, money. And it's also giving us an opportunity to invite the new and to reverse the generational shit that we've held on to from our family and from freaking years and years and years of this topic. So, it's also time to reclaim our individuality and our uniqueness. So, let's get rid of the old and jump into the new, and let's freaking get rid of this generational crap.
Generations and generations.
Yes.
And generations.
This is deep.
It lays pretty deep.
Oh, yes. So,
at least a few hundred years.
Oh, yeah. And it's time now. This is something that we're going to talk about that is absolutely time for this world to lay to rest and to let go of. Because I'm not going to say we all do it, but majority of us do it, and we're doing it without even knowing.
I did it last week.
Tiffany did it last week. Without even knowing. And just want to say this too. Her intentions were absolutely beautiful and amazing, but we didn't even know. So
we can explain. I mean, if I explain my why, maybe like people could resonate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not me making excuses, just sharing the perspective and where this comes so naturally to us. So do you want to hit the button?
Yes. Okay, so you guys are probably like, what the hell are you guys even talking about? Like, share. Okay, so last week when we had our fabulous episode 12, we talked about some pretty fun and wild things.
Pretty profound.
Very profound. And so I'm going to start off like this. So when someone tells a story, we can easily be like, so let me just say, here we go. So when we talk, we technically, a lot of us label people before we even tell the story. So my mom or my dad or Tiffany or whoever's going to say, oh, I was out at the mall and then this gay guy came up to me and said this. Okay, another example is, oh my gosh, I went over here and then there was this Asian that cut me off. And then saying
sometimes it's not even a negative thing that's happened. Sometimes it's like, this albino girl gave me this flower and it would just caught me off guard.
Exactly. So basically what we need to remove is, what does it matter? So why do we need to say their race or their sexuality before we're talking about the person? So if I just said to Tiff, like, hey babe, I was just out and this awesome sweet girl came up to me and gave me a compliment, that's this whole story. That's all that we need to know. But through generations and generations, they have always talked about the person with their race first, or this huge fat man came up to me. What does it fucking matter?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But this was the beautiful thing about this last episode. We wouldn't be able to sit here and talk about it if a situation didn't happen. And it was totally just coming from a place of love. And it's a place that we don't even think twice about. We're just like, oh, just telling a damn story like we just tell a damn story. But
well, I mean, so what ended up, I mean, if you remember last episode, I was describing a story I posted on my Instagram, and it was this woman, but I described her as this black woman. And it didn't even like dawn on me, to be honest. Like, it just didn't, because I am not racist. I am not, what else?
Like prejudice.
You're I'm a nothing.
You're an equal. You're nothing.
I'm a nothing.
She's a nothing. No, you're the most. You see people just like I do as a soul.
Yeah.
In a shell. That's how it is. You're in a fucking shell, man.
But the reason why I did say black woman, because the black race have this amazing rhythm. They are probably the best dancers. I know our ship froze. But and then it's true. It's like I feel like they're the fastest runners, they're the best dancers. Like there's these like stats, these real stats. And so when I was explaining the story, I wanted to paint the picture of envisioning this powerful Black woman busting her ass. Like, I don't know women that can dance like that. I just don't. Yeah. Like, unless if you're a professional dancer.
Yeah.
But these women, they just have this like
next level
like
it was
moves.
soul level. It was soul level, I think.
Really was.
Yeah, it was like absolutely beautiful.
And that's how I feel like that's how they sing, that's how they perform, that's how they dance at a soul level. And you said that perfectly. And that's exactly what she did in that dance, and that's what it came down to. But after I said it, it did come to Kristen's, it called to her. She's like, wait a minute, Tiff, you said this thing. And I'm like, come on, it's not a big deal. Like, it's coming from the heart. It's not a big deal. But then she's like, no, hear me out. And then she said what she said, and I'm like, fuck, you're right. Yeah. Like, God damn, I didn't even think about it in that sense. Like, I just feel that I know that I know who I am. I know where I stand. Yes. But in the way that it's received, it's just not, I don't know. It's just, this is the time where we need to start reversing the old ways, old beliefs, old systems
and conditioning
that seems to come so naturally.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like this was, like you said, a perfect time to have this conversation. Yeah. Because what the fuck does it matter?
It doesn't.
I mean, I wouldn't say this like, if I was describing you and I didn't know you, I'd be like, this blonde girl cut me off. I'd be like, this girl cut me off.
Exactly. I love that you said that, because this is what it's all boils back down to. Tell the story. It's a person.
Yeah.
When I go really deep with it, it's actually just a flippin' soul. You came here. You chose your parents. You chose your body. You chose to be here. And this is the shell that you're in. Who gives a flying fuck?
Well, we're all human in this. We're all human in this same time. I mean, how could there be such a separation because someone's color or choice of sex? Like, I don't know that it really should matter, because what really matters is how you show up in this world and how you share your experiences, or just how you show up. Like, let's just say that.
And you know what's even better about our topic, right? Or what we're talking about is Tiffany and I will always shed light on anything, whether we say something that we talk about later and we're like, you know what? Maybe we should like talk about this or do a topic, because we are here to empower people, and we are here to oh my gosh, this is hilarious. So if you guys see on YouTube, I wonder why this is doing this. You've got we're paused or frozen on in a very funny way. Is there anything we can do?
No, you just gotta wait for it, baby.
Okay.
Gotta wait. Wait
and
it
your
out.
Wi-Fi's on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Well, it's quite a funny it's quite a funny look. Anyways, so we are happy to talk about this with you guys, and this is amazing. So why don't we also? Oh yeah, and that's dying too.
Awesome. Oh, that's fine. I was just saying 4-3.
Oh, well, you caught the 4-3. So
I did. I caught
you.
the 4-3 for you.
And then after Tiffany and I talked about this, and I said, hey, you know what? Just because the whole labeling a person, it doesn't really matter. And then she reached out to a friend.
Yeah, so my friend Sean, how did I meet Sean? Sean, I'm sorry. I feel like, well, eventually we ended up meeting online, and he owned a clothing line, an athletic clothing line called Gamba.
Oh, cool.
And we ended up conversing. Now, Sean is like, I see him as a businessman. He is also all about sharing the word of like equality and
Empowering, probably.
well,
people.
very much empowering, because the reason why he even started his clothing line was for athletes who didn't have a community. So people who were like really passionate about powerlifting or whatever sport that they were in, often they're moving in, they don't know anybody, they're coming from different areas of the world, or they just don't know anybody who's as passionate as they are about the lifting. So when you are doing competitions, it's groundbreaking when you have your community there yelling at you and supporting you, like just showing up for you. So that actually, raises the confidence of somebody who's performing, and they perform at a completely different level. And then too, we're human, so we also thrive off of community and connection. And he completely understands all this. So I ended up visiting my dad in California, and we ended up going just outside of Orange County. And that I took the opportunity, because I know Sean just lived outside of there. So I took the opportunity. I called him up. I'm like, let's go to the gym. Let's record a podcast. And he did. And him and his buddy Rami, they met me, and we went into like the back closet of the gym where all the barbells were. Yeah, we recorded for about an hour. And it was just such an amazing experience, because I learned so much about him and, the culture that he's building. And now I know if I had any questions, I could talk to him. So I actually messaged him, because he is really standing tall and confident with the Black Lives Matter, because he's also Black. But he's such a well-educated man too. Like he just is, like, he's very smart.
It was someone that you felt comfortable with to have this discussion about 100%. such a deep conversation, and that I think also you probably felt like you weren't going to be judged by being honest and open.
No, because he knows me. Yeah. Like, and if I came to him with this, and which I did, I was like, Sean,
like, shit,
I think I fucked up. And I told him what I said, and I'm like, what else? What should I say? And he laughed at me. And he's like, Tiff, just say the woman.
The woman dancing.
I'm like, okay, obviously, but I think obviously that's where we need to come from.
Yeah.
Really, just taking the label out of it.
Exactly.
But now you understand why I said what I said. But yes, I still need to. It's hard to reverse things that seem to come so naturally.
It was conditioned.
Totally conditioned. It's so bizarre. So bizarre.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to be the generation for change for our children. So by us teaching our kids, hey, that's just a boy playing soccer over there. Hey, that's just my friend. It doesn't matter about anything, what you look like, what you're wearing, what you're doing. We don't really care. You're just freaking rocking your freaking shit, doing your own business. So,
well, if you talk about like kids,
oh yeah,
because children are so perfect.
Oh, I know.
they're just so perfect,
so authentic.
And I've heard of like the most adorable stories of multicultural children who grow up together and have never been talked to about race ever. No. And you got a white kid and you got a black kid. Whatever the other races are, they're different, and they never see each other as different. No. They're like, no, he's not black. He's my friend.
Exactly.
What does it?
They don't see.
It's just
the
cutest thing ever. So it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is my friend.
Yeah, and I love that. And that's what we're gonna try to make this change. And by doing this podcast and shining this light on this topic, is only going to make everybody else like us put ourselves into check and go, yeah, you know what? We can lose that. That's absolutely something. And with this whole new moon and shedding old skin and old ways, this is a perfect opportunity.
I think
to bring this up.
Definitely.
I love this.
Definitely. I had a thought that was about to run off me, but it's gone now. It'll come back. They always do.
So yeah, let's just rock our individuality and our uniqueness and just be the awesome souls that we are and keep shining the light and teaching these kids. And then we can teach our parents. Like, I had a conversation with my mom and I've had the conversation with my dad. And I even said the same thing. I'm like, what does it matter? Like, just describe it as the person. And my mom was just like, yeah, you're so right. But that's how I grew up, because that's what my dad did and my mom did. And then that's what my grandma did and my grandpa did.
And then their
and they
parents
still do
before
it.
them. Yeah.
They are very, like, they highlight the person and the descriptive defiance of that being when it's like,
and it's taken away from the story.
Yeah, even. You're right.
Yeah.
Just tell the damn story.
We just want the story.
We just want the story.
Because anyways, you have to be there anyways to have the full experience. So why don't you just give the PowerPoints to really what happened and then just leave it at that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a very humbling thing when it's like shedding old beliefs and into the new. Because we've talked about this before, where that's even like we do that within ourselves and our own habits as far as like living a wellness, healthy lifestyle. Yeah. But our verbiage is also needs to be healthy too. And I know there's a lot of like elders out there that it's I feel like sometimes it's almost like the older that we get, maybe the harder it is to make these changes. But you do hear them every so often where just some people are just open to new ways. And I think especially at this time and the way things are going, we kind of need to be more open. We should be more open to these things. And if anything, when you're open to these things and new changes, it's so crazy what can come around and the new perspectives that is had. Because like I've said before, you see the world differently and the world shows up differently.
Yes.
It just does.
100%. I live with my, I live on the same property as my grandparents and my parents. And just from me actually living there and dropping little bombs and tips and things and herbs and whatever, like I make my grandma her carrot juice and I drop it off every day. And I do a lot of care for my family because obviously that's what I love to do. And it's so cool because she's in her 80s and she's open. She drinks her coffee and she has her cheese and she has her, it's called a Hundstuga. This is Danish. She makes them naturally or makes them from scratch. And she's very much stuck in her ways of the way that she likes things. But at 80, you know what? She's open to some juicing and taking some herbs. And she's watching it just make her a little bit happier and changing her life. So I feel it's safe to say that you can change at any age. And like Louise Hay, I love her. She was 90 years old and dancing and painting and doing all the things that she loves. So don't ever give up on yourself, you know? Like, there's even love at 80 years old if you've lost somebody. There's always time for change and for the new. So just be open to welcoming the new. And this is what it's all about for especially February and this new moon. So honor it and bring it in.
Wow.
Lots.
Well, yeah, because old thought patterns, old habits, it's the same thing within ourselves. And we've talked about this, about what we say to ourselves every day. And are they the most nicest things? No, they're not. They're not, especially if you're in a place when you're not living in gratitude and you're not honoring yourself. You're going to say, I'm shit. I'm a loser. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty. I'm fat. I'm ugly. Whatever it is.
Look at the cellulite.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Like, I honestly don't even care. So, well, now I don't, but I used to.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about my experience.
I was
yes.
like, rolling
da, da, da.
Rolling like a river. Rolling like the river. Ooh.
Ow. Love Tina Turner.
Oh, yeah. Like powerhouse. Freaking boss babe.
Next level. Anyway, so
this is a good story, by the way.
I've had to change a direction in my exercise routine due to my mental health. And it's weird because I didn't, if anything, what's happened is I'm starting to slow down, and my mind is making me slow down because I've been really tired. So we're in the midst of like trying to figure this out.
To her body.
Yes.
Also.
So
I know that you were thinking you had 2 ways to go there.
I did. Thank you.
Yes, I love it. I know what she's about to drop, and you know what? If you want to do a little curve into that, you can, or pick back up. But
okay, quick curve. Okay,
I love it.
Quick side curve, guys. We have as we know, stress can be stored in our bodies. Mm-hmm. It can be stored in our organs, and we need to learn ways to release that. We also, oh God, where am I going with this?
Energy.
Okay, so that is energy. And being an empath, we have a tendency to really care about how people's well-being and how they're feeling, and we take it on as an empath, and we take it on so much so this is the rookie of an empath, is not learning how to release and send energy off that's not ours. So I'm telling you guys, side note, if you're feeling shitty or not yourself, I'd strongly advise just to sit with that feeling for a minute and just wonder maybe if it is yours or not. Because it may not be your energy. It might be someone else's. And just a quick little lesson that Kristen and I just both knew, but we already knew. We just learned, but we already knew. Right. Is to actually send that energy off to its owner. Whoever it really belongs to. If you don't know who it belongs to, just get it out, open your window, shake it off, get it out of your realm, open your door, give it to your guides, stomp it into the ground. Give it to your guides
is a great one.
Stomping into the ground is another good one, because the earth will absorb all of that for you.
Yes.
What are you going to say?
I was just going to say, I want you guys to actually think about what we're saying a little bit deeper. So picture yourself in a friend circle. It could be your mom or your dad, or it could be a friend that just picked up their phone and called you. Energy is still energy.
Yeah.
And they've just laid some pretty heavy stuff on you. Yeah. It's very easy for you to then take that. And the person that's on the other end is going to go, oh, I feel so much better. Thank you for talking to me. I feel so great. This happens all the time. All the time. And what you guys, what we all aren't aware of is how much we really need to protect our energy even before that phone call or before that interaction, so that we don't just go and take on someone else's, like Tiffany said. Yeah. So really think about those moments when you've been with someone, and then afterwards how you feel, because that could be owning and taking their energy. And then when you're not returning it back to that rightful owner, it's just storing inside of you. So there was one more tip with that.
There is. A tip for
that. For when you release the energy. Yeah. This is something that Stevie told us, and this is something that I had never done before, ever, for me. When you release that energy, you have to fill it back up with something.
Oh.
So if you don't fill it back up with something...
It's true.
You just have that open space, and that's not going to be good. It could be room to open up with something else, or it could just be a room for you to not feel well. So then invite in, whether it's white light energy, gold energy, it could be purple, whatever it is that you'd like. Release the energy out and welcome the new in. Yeah. So that you're filled back up again.
Agreed. Yeah. I have had that happen before, where Landmark did that, where we just kind of got out of our heads and realized our problems really were nothing. Yeah. And there was this huge load off my shoulders, and I was so used to this negative energy consuming me, and now it was no longer there, and now there was this deep dark cave hole
Yeah, that's exactly. It was like, what is this? Because you're used to the toxicity.
So used to it. So then, unknowingly, subconsciously, I ended up filling it with light and love, like love.
Good.
Yeah. So naturally, that ended up happening for me. Luckily,
because it could have been searching for fulfillment in external or shopping or drugs or alcohol.
Exactly.
Or gossip or drama.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that happened.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's the energy thing. That was the side note. But to get back to the story about old beliefs and old habits of what we say to ourselves. So I've had to change my regime of working out. So I loved hitting it hard in the gym for about an hour, maybe an hour 15, and just like crushing a workout like WOD, like CrossFit style, like lifting, lots of lifting, fast-paced movements, whatever. So because of years of doing that, I'm just tired.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to burn like that anymore. I want to move with ease, and I don't want to be that sore anymore. Like, I'm almost 40, guys. What am I doing here? So anyways, that being said, and I've been a little bit more relaxed especially since COVID. I put on the COVID weight. It just happened. It did. So I put on at least 10, 15 pounds. I'm not going to lie. It still looks pretty good.
I love it.
You're
owning it.
Yeah. I'm not.
I think you look beautiful.
I think I look beautiful. Thank you. But I hadn't been at Oxygen Yoga since like really before COVID, and then like during. I knew I'd gained some weight.
September. Since I been done a class with you.
And my pants, like my tights kind of, they're tighter.
Your tights are tight, girl. Their tights are giving you the cami?
Some of them do, I'm not going to lie.
I love it.
So I took off my tank top in class today, and I've always, like lately, I've been feeling a bit of like, guys, this is how I've been describing myself as like this heifer. I felt like I had fluffed up enough where like my clothes just weren't fitting. And but because I've been doing so much self-love and self-work these last months, long months, I look different in the mirror because they have mirrors. I'm not used to looking in mirrors like that, but I'm like, God damn, she's beautiful. Like, wow, that's not what I imagined. Like, I'm looking at myself the way other people would look at me, and I do not look like what I thought I looked like. No. Like, I just don't. Like, I'm not.
It's funny that Tiffany's talking about this right now because I was in the class too, and I was like, she didn't tell me that she was going to be in the class. And so I was surprised. I'm like, oh my God, hi. And then I was like, hey, do you know Rawbabes101? And I was just being silly like I always am. And I always like to go beside the teacher. And then I looked over at Tiffany and I was like, first of all, I'm like, okay, she hasn't been at Oxygen and done like Carly's classes are crazy. And it's like low intensity. We'll just call it.
Liar.
We'll call it was low intensity.
Fucking liar.
Low intensity. And what I was going to say about this was, I looked over and I was like, Tiff, I'm like in my head, and I didn't even tell her because obviously I was meant to tell you now. Oh. I was like, oh, you look so good. And she's just killing it. And she was just rocking it. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah.
Rawbabes101.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, that class was not the class I wanted to be in. I wanted
to be there.
Well, I did sign up for it, but because of this fucking COVID shit, I wanted to sign up for that one and then finish off with the yoga class.
With a nice flow.
Yes, because the flow is really what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And then I get there and they're like, you're only allowed one class because of COVID. I'm like, ugh!
Gotta say this though. Did you hear how she said that it's not what she wanted, but the universe gave her what she needed? So it's not always what you want, it's what you need. And maybe in that yoga class, she would have looked at herself in the mirror and thought differently. Who knows? Maybe not. But you definitely looked at yourself and honored and loved yourself for the skin that you're in right now. Because this is what we have.
Yeah.
And then when I talked to Tiffany, I'm like, fuck, Tiffany, I want you to share this today because it's so magical, because so many people will be able to resonate. How many people look at themselves in the mirror and say negative things? We've talked about this before. Stop doing that. Let's change the old way.
I love my fold. I'm folding. I have stretch marks because I've had children.
And I love that.
My legs are hairy because I haven't waxed in 2 months.
Exactly. And that's what... Same with mine, actually. Do you want to know a funny story, though? So sometimes I'm like, okay, well, if my pants go a little bit higher, I just shave like the bottom ankle.
Because anybody's really looking at your goddamn ankles. Nobody gives a shit.
But you know what? I am. And I'm like, whoa, that's a long hair that's hanging out of the side. So I'm going to just... So it's like called the half-ass shave. It's easy.
I know lots of girlfriends that do that. I don't do that. I don't know. I'm kind of like...
I don't really care.
I'm like waiting to braid it outside of my pant leg.
Gosh.
And see if anybody notices that.
Oh, actually, Tiffany, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I was like, I might as well ask her right on the podcast. Like as summer rolls around, I might want you to wax me.
Wax your JJ?
Yeah, because you know why?
That can happen.
Because what I was thinking about, I was like, it's fine to shave, but like, how much longer do you get out of waxing?
A month. You're ready, like a month.
There you go.
Every month you're ready for another wax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's basically like, I noticed from before when I used to get waxing, it just got less, like thinner and thinner and...
Yes. Well, your hair grows in 3 different stages, as you know, as a hairdresser, right? And when you're... Well, do you know that? Did you learn that?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
I probably learned it, but...
Okay. It's a big part of like the aesthetic course because of waxing, obviously. But so 3 different stages. Your hair grows, and when you wax the first time, you're pulling out all 3 stages, and then you're gonna have, because the 3rd stage that is out, they're the baby hairs. It's like your eyelashes.
Okay.
There's adults, teenagers, and babies. The way we describe lashes.
Example.
Yeah. So when you're pulling out all 3 stages, the baby stage is going to be the one that's going to grow back last.
Okay.
So your first wax is always kind of like not as sparse as your 2nd and 3rd.
Okay.
So after your 2nd, 3rd wax,
like,
frickin' frig.
Okay.
We just have a couple more minutes, but
we have a couple more minutes.
Well,
right.
Okay.
But the whole thing that you were going to share was giving back the energy.
I did.
What happened?
Oh. Okay, you wanted me to share that part.
Oh, shit. Were you not going to share that?
Well, I can now.
Well, we don't have to. We can just leave it as a freaking
No, this is actually pretty funny.
But I, like, when you told me, I was like...
Okay, I'll tell you real quick. Okay, this is awesome. But okay, so basically, after I gave that, we can always actually come back. Just saying. When I gave back that energy, the energy that...
Well, you were always tired.
Well, yeah, because I was like... I'm being a pussy. I need to fight through this tired. And I would fight through it all the time. And it wasn't until recently that it was kind of brought to my attention that it might be a lot of my husband's energy. He works a very stressful job, and I am the matriarch of this household, and I take care of the whole family. Yeah, everybody. So I'd never put 2 and 2 together, and it wasn't until actually last night I did this exercise and I was tired and I gave back the energy to its rightful owner. Before I went to bed, because my husband he works in Kelowna,
sometimes
every other week or whatever. And he's up there right now, and I was on the phone with him before we went to bed, and he's telling me about the end of his night, and he's like, yeah, we were having Chinese food with like a couple of the guys, and I don't know what came over me. All of a sudden, I hit this wall, and I was so tired. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
He's like,
when did that happen? And he's like, oh, it was like an hour ago. Okay, but Dave and his timelines don't always
match.
They're not. So I'm like, okay, try about like an hour and a half. And I was like, okay, you want to hear something crazy? I said I gave it back to you because I don't fucking want it.
It's not yours to have anymore.
He's like, are you kidding? Is that, you did that? I'm like, yeah, I did. He's like, why would you give it back to me? I'm like, because it's not mine. And if you felt as tired as I did, maybe you would fucking relax and like not work so hard and take some time to self-care.
True.
But he's not taking time to self-care because he's not tired, because I am.
Because she's taking it on. And you guys, this is so real. That's why we found out and did all this on energy.
It was next level.
Like when it shows up like that, and then it gets affirmed, that is where you're like, I am a believer. Okay, I am a believer. I believe in this, and I did the same thing for a lot of family members in my life, and even in the past, and even with Cassius's dad, I would take on this anxiety and like this crazy feeling.
Yeah.
And I know it has a lot to do with like before, when I was codependent, it was very much whatever that person did or how they moved or acted, or if they were angry or happy or whatever it would affect me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know there's a lot of people out there while we're talking about this to give it back. It's not yours. Be like, I'm done.
And
that could
be the old beliefs in that too. It's like this energy that just keeps coming up for you, and you're like, I feel crazy, or I don't know what's wrong with me. And obviously there is a tie-in to a full moon, your period, your monthly cycle. That's a big one.
Huge.
But there is times outside of the realms of that where I can tell when I have other people's energy, because I'm used to working with people. And being in the beauty industry, we're basically therapists. And if you do not cut yourself off from that client after they leave, it screws your whole day. Like it just does. You're just drained. You're not yourself. You're impatient. You just... all those things.
There's a lot of practices and things that you can do. To ground yourself, to protect your energy. There's a lot of things, and we can get into that at a later date. But one thing when you mentioned about the period, this is another thing that we wanted to share is how many women that have daughters talk about their period and say, oh, like, it's painful and it sucks, and oh, you have to get it every month, and like label the menstrual cycle and the period as such a negative thing. We're just passing on problems to our kids. So it's really important to change your perspective even on a menstrual cycle. For example, like with me, I had cysts on the ovaries, so I didn't get it. And it was a fear, and it was something that I was worried about for being able to have a baby. So look at a menstrual cycle as there's people that don't get them. So you know how many people would wish to have a menstrual cycle to be able to have a baby? Like, honor the fact that we do get a menstrual cycle. We do get to birth a child if we get our menstrual cycle. And I just want to shine that light to also make that change for moms, and then even, this younger generation to hopefully listen to what we're saying and change your perspective on it and go, I'm so grateful that I get this every month, and that it's shedding the old. We get to shed.
We're literally shedding
our old.
We're literally shedding.
And welcoming the new every single month. So let's also change this whole old programming from our moms and our grandparents on how negative it is. Even how we throw like oh, it's our mood, and oh, it's going to be this. I look at when you get your period as it's going to shine the light on anything that you need to work on in your life. So if your relationship sucks or you're triggered more, it's just highlighting what direction you need to go in. So for me, every time I get my period, and it's even the week before, I'm like, oh, I need to work on even what foods I'm craving, to not go to the emotional eating. Or if my son's triggering me more, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to allow this trigger to then lash out on him or a family member or something. So just keep that in the back of your mind, in your back pocket, on the words that you're using in the now about your menstrual cycle. Be very mindful.
Yeah. And about all the things.
All the things that we're talking about. Let's change it. We're into this new. We're into the new.
We are.
Are we going to pull a card?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do this, baby.
I'll hold you.
Thank you.
I'll hold you. I got you.
I want to hold your hand. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you guys, we wanted to keep this light and airy and a little bit of everything. We went a little deep, and then about the change.
Yeah.
So
there could be a few segues off of this one. I'm not gonna lie.
100%.
We could only get into so much detail about what we talked about, but there's so much value there, and I know
episode 13.
I love the number 13.
Oh my gosh,
it just fell out.
It just happened right away.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
This will be interesting.
Okay. Wow. Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation. Sorry, I'm saying it again. I fucked it up.
Shit.
Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help.
Oh.
Totally.
Can I see this?
Yes. And you know what? We were just talking about separation as in like separating race or sexuality, and like talking about different people. And I feel like sometimes there's this belief on people that are very judgmental or that do describe people. They have this underlying thing about certain people or races or whatever that may be, and it very well just could be a call for help. It's a call for help.
That's pretty deep. That's pretty profound.
Yes.
That's pretty profound. I love when we pull the cards at the end. It always resonates so much with what we talked about.
It does.
We put so much energy into what we're saying, and it's just, I don't know, I just think it's just beautiful.
4-3.
Woo!
4-3-3-3, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know what? When it goes with like pain and fear, judgment, and all that, just know that when you're going through that time, reach out.
Yes.
A friend, a family member, us. Reach out. Because
we have some cool things.
Yeah, we can help.
Planning around here some like really interesting talk about some of our side projects, because we already have enough going on. But we're just been called to do these things and really support our sisters. And we say sisters because we are women, but we obviously invite this to the men too.
Of course. Always.
But obviously women are just going to naturally resonate with us more, and that's totally fine. But is supporting each other as a whole. And when we do that, we create this huge realm of energy, and that is what makes moves. That's what moves mountains. Yeah. Is that support and that community. Oh,
so love that. The community, and we're here to support, and we are here to rise above and help each one of you
rise up and high,
reach your highest potential.
Yes,
that's what we're hopeful.
This is Kristen and I. This is what our calling is doing that, obviously, with the podcast and with our other plans that we have coming up. Yeah, we can't obviously say anything because we just can't. But we can maybe talk about it more next week. Maybe not.
So you guys all have a beautiful morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you watch or listen to us, and give us some feedback from a loving place. We didn't get to talk about our beautiful crystal, but that's okay. We can talk about it next week.
We had a lot to talk about today. There was a lot
of sharing.
I love it.
Thank you guys for listening. Really, like, when you guys hit like or the subscribe or even that reminder bell, it really helps us. And it's showing your love and support because it's helping us in a different way, and it's free.
Free.
So help us, and have a fabulous time. Thanks for tuning into Rawbabes101, episode 13.
Love you all. Ciao for now. Saving grace.
Always me. I'm always like, I can't move until it's saved. Episode 13. And I think it could be like labeling.
Stop
labeling.
Do you want to finish the YouTube so I can do my thing?
I think it's finished because you know what? I have to pee. And I went 47 minutes, and now my bladder would like to be released.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
How long is it on here? How long are we? We went for 101. Rawbabes101. So Tiffany has to go pick up her son.
My son man.
Her son man.
He's like a man.
We are going to call, and you know what? We have another episode we're recording on Saturday.
Woo!
Oh, I actually
so excited.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, look at the abs.
That was a surprise for me. I was like, wow, does that mean?
That was you.
Oh my gosh, so funny. Okay, so we're going to cut it out.
Wow, love you guys.
That's Joey Tanner from Full House, right?
Yes, it is.